Hey everybody, this is probably the most important video on the channel to date. So let's point out the elephant in the room. I haven't uploaded in 6 months and haven't uploaded a story video in about 3 years. Holy moly! That last video was with the Stitch Race series, and there's going to be a couple sections for this video, so you can skip ahead or listen to my tale of woe. But while we're still in the intro here, I will say I do have a promise I intend to keep, and you will learn more of that later. But let's not beat around the bush and just get right into the update here. So, a little life update has been quite the roller coaster of things happening these past few years, and weirdly, these 3 years have been a huge blur for me. Once I graduated high school, I immediately joined college, and that took up a big chunk of time. On top of that, I had a job on the weekends that wasn't awful to my schedule, as I did work on some smaller projects here and there that YouTube has not seen, and just sharpened my skills. But through college, it took me a step back so I could move forward. As I have been animating since 5th grade and using 3D software since middle school, so taking this step back really rattled my process. But here I am now about to graduate, and as of recording this, I've just turned in my final assignment, so congratulations to me. But I'm getting ahead of myself. During my first year of college, I was very happy and wrote a lot. I created 5 new shows and added to my existing stories. And a weird factor to this was my house flooded, so when we moved into an Airbnb, I lived very minimalistically and had basically only my school computer and an Oculus, and of course my notebooks. Here I had no distractions and wrote a lot, but once we moved back into my house, the harder classes begun, and now time and quality to school was much more of a focal point. So after my first year of college, I also got a second job, one that was further away, but one I do actually really like. So that added another big chunk of time into my schedule to where now I couldn't even think about working on other projects. I still did write some smaller ones here or there, but nothing crazy. Again, things were just sent on the back burner, and I also met and fell in love with my girlfriend. I saw her only on my day off, and things were great. However, at this time, I started to get very burnt out, and that's when YouTube really got sidelined. Even my random videos were just canceled or started but never finished. And I was just exhausted every single day, and I had no creative engine to even touch a notebook. Needless to say, I did manage to write a 30-minute short film within this time, but we'll come back to that later. And finally, here I am in year 3, and nothing too significant has happened. But I did lose my first job, gained another second job, and my girlfriend broke up with me because she also had a very busy schedule, and seeing each other became more of a dwindling priority. But we're still friends, which is good, and I did get another second job, and here I am looking back on things as I'm about to graduate. These past 3 years are a complete blur. In fact, I remember more from when my house flooded than I do now. And that's partially because my life has been so routine due to the tight schedule I have to have. However, now that I am graduating, things are about to change, and I will have a lot more free time. So that's my 3-year gap, and now let's talk about my struggle with my projects. As you all are probably aware of, I have announced many shows on here, from FNAF to more obscure ideas like pets. And I will say I don't have a struggle with writing. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm cursed with being good at writing, and I'm constantly being flooded with ideas that I just have to write down. My main struggle is I'm just a single guy, one dude who wants to tell so many interesting stories but no good medium to do it. Well, yes, I have animation at my disposal now. It's the fact that animation takes a long time. Even working on a show like The Stitch Race, it took multiple days to make a single episode. So with so many stories in mind and such little power to tell them, it was like digging a hole. Well, yes, I could fill the hole at any moment, I just like digging. And with every story I make, the hole gets deeper. I have 12 stories with multiple seasons and expansions I want to share. Not to mention random one-off stories or even my comic book style stories where I have over 200 plus heroes and villains, each with unique stories in mind. It's just so much. The more I write, the more I get discouraged from actually animating, creating, and sharing the story. All because I'm alone. I don't have a team, and if I did, I'd have too much to give them, and they would be overwhelmed also. So with all that, I never continued and just kept writing. But the other day, I was thinking of what I could and need to do for my future career, and here I have this YouTube channel, and that was just kicked off to the side with projects and stories begging to be told. And that's when I realized animation was never my true passion. It's merely a vessel to express my true passion, which is writing. And that gave me a new idea for a whole new direction for the channel. So here we are, a big standstill with so many stories, very little time, and me. What do? I thought, well, why don't I just tell you my stories? And it would be done in a way still with visuals, music, and sound effects. This will take a lot less time than animation. While yes, I still have animated series here, a lot more of them will be told this way. For a further explanation, it would be like an audiobook with sound effects and music, something to listen to while you're driving, on a plane, or just laying in bed and want something to listen to. I will, of course, still have animated stories here, and this new style will really let me catch up with everything. Like I said, my comic book ones have over 200 characters, and that alone is going to take a long time. Even if I have the number and uploaded once a week, it would take over a year to tell that story. So I think this method is my new way forward because I love to draw, and combining the two into visuals plus a story would be a lot easier and less straining than animation. Let me know if this is something you would like, but at the end of the day, this is, for me, doing what I love. And that's just pure good storytelling that takes you to a new world with interesting characters and themes. But with that being said, let's go ahead and go over how I'm going to take my new projects moving forward. To start things off, we have FNAF, and of course, how could this not be animated? This is what I know a lot of you are here for, and this is a big foundation of the channel. Therefore, I will be giving this show the type of love it deserves. I will take care of it and nurture it, and this will go for all of my main series show that I will be getting a rewrite. The reason being is I have come much further as a writer. The original FNAF story was written when I was in 5th grade, and its remake in high school, so in order to make it better and connect with everything else, I'm going to rewrite pretty much everything, but don't worry, this one will remain how it is and will be better than how it was. Next we have Crocodrilus, another show that actually had a few episodes behind it. This one is one of the more important ones in the main series. It'll also be rewritten. It will follow the new visual storytelling with still images depicting what is happening. Kind of like before, but with higher quality. Then we have The Old Mill. Now, this one won't really need to be rewritten, as it's the most recent one in the main series, but I will definitely reread it, and when it comes to rewriting the others, but this one will also follow the visual story method. We have Godzilla next, and this one was an absolute disaster when I originally made it, but I think I've found a new way to make it work, especially with the new Godzilla movies we've gotten recently. I think this one would be my own MonsterVerse, and it would be how I would treat a massive project like this, which is something I would love to do since I am a huge Godzilla fan. But anyway, this one would be more audio storytelling with images of the monsters, as I feel like it's easy to figure out who they are than what they're doing. But honestly, that's just my idea of how to treat this project. Finally, we have The Adventures of Lucky. Now, this story is kind of the catalyst of my struggle with this entire problem. This was the first original story I've ever written, and it holds a special place in my soul for that reason. I wanted this project to turn out so well, and I was scared of failing it, so here it is, abandoned and alone. But not much longer. Again, this is a story I'm going to revisit and rewrite, as the original copy, which I have not touched, was written in 6th grade, and here I am now graduating, so I don't know what to expect when I reread this, but this one for sure will be told in a visual story method. And these are going to consist of my main series shows, and they are going to be the early importance of the channel and its story. With my new method, I truly think I now have the capability of keeping my promise to these stories and sharing them. Let me know which one you look forward to. Of course, there won't really be a good way to make trailers for them, but I'll try. Now let's talk about my side stories. These are the ones that I have made recently and don't have a good category like the others. These are going to be one-off stories, some shows that I'm telling for fun, and these will be a mix of visual and audio. A lot of them don't need rewrites as they are very recent, but they just need to be finished as into a shareable form here on YouTube. Finally, my comic series. Again, these ones will be their own category and will be told with visuals, but more comic-like. Or maybe just the cover and told audibly. I'm not really sure yet, but that's why this new method will work a lot better for me, because I can actually make these stories happen faster. So with all this in mind, I have a lot, and I mean a lot of things to wrap up this year. I need to find a set schedule to where I can happily work on these projects without the stress of a burnout or just bumming me out. And I don't want to put too many hopes up, but I want to plan for April to start having these shows come out. And I would be kicking things off with FNAF, Crocodrilus, Godzilla the Comics, and the Stitch Wraith to start. And these would not only be the perfect mix to see what you guys like, but also the main story of the channel moving forward. Like I said, I do have to rewrite a lot and figure out how to make these interesting for your viewing and listening experience. Plus, I do want to enjoy my graduation, just relax a bit, as I've been working like a farm horse and just burnt out. But that's about it. Thanks for watching and listening. I also will make community tabs on shows' progresses when they start to enter that stage. Until next time, have a wonderful day.